Good morning, guys. Happy Thursday. So we have some fun activities planned for you today. I hope you've been enjoying the ones that you've been doing this week. Today we're talking about the number 19, which is our last teen number. There aren't any more. And so you're going to be doing an activity on Freckle. Remember, when you go into Freckle and you put in our class code, you find your name, and then you're going to go to the picture of the chicken. And the chicken is going to have activities assigned for you that are going to be all about the teen numbers. So you're going to be practicing all about the teen numbers. For our opinion writing today, which we've been working on this week, you guys are going to be talking about your favorite ice cream flavor. And mine is either mint chocolate chip or anything with peanut butter in it. Those are my favorites. So I can't wait to read about yours. And you guys are going to be reading your leveled readers today. Since we haven't been able to see each other in school, I'm so excited on Thursdays when I get to hear your voices and listen to you guys read your leveled readers. And remember, if the leveled reader that I've been assigning you, if you think it's too easy, let me know, because I can bump you up to the next one. If you think it's too hard, let me know. Or if you think it's just right. That way I know where you guys are at. I can kind of usually tell from listening to you read, but I want to hear from you too. Let me know how you're feeling about those leveled readers. And then you're going to be doing a retell of a story using beginning, middle, and end. So you're going to get to retell a story based on the different parts of it. Now, we've been talking about Jack and the Beanstalk this week. We have a fun story for you guys to do today called Kate and the Beanstalk, which is a little bit different. But I also have this one, which is just called Jack and the Beanstalk. And this is a little closer to what the original story is like. This is by Stephen Kellogg, and it's actually retold by him. So he wasn't the original author. He's just retelling the story. And he also did the illustrations. The giant's kind of scary looking in this one, though. So I don't know. Let's see if this one's going to be different than our other stories that we've read. Look at those pictures. They're very detailed. Jack and the Beanstalk. Look at these pictures. There he is with the cow. And then there's some important characters over here. There was once upon a time a poor widow who had an only son named Jack and a cow named Milky White, and all they had to live on was the milk the cow gave every morning, which they carried to the market and sold. But one morning, Milky White gave no milk, and they didn't know what to do. "Cheer up, Mother. I'll go and get work somewhere," said Jack. "We've tried that before, and nobody would take you," cried his mother. "We must sell Milky White, and with the money start shop or something." So she's at the end of her rope. She doesn't know what to do. On his way to market, Jack met a funny-looking old man. "Well, good morning, Jack," said he. "Good morning to you," said Jack, and wondered how the man knew his name. "Can you tell me how many beans make 5?" said the man. "2 in each hand and 1 in your mouth," said Jack, sharp as a needle. That doesn't make sense, does it? "Right," said the man, "and as you are such a bright lad, I don't mind doing a swap with you. Your cow for these beans." "Go along," said Jack. "Ah, but these are magical beans," said the man. "If you plant them tonight, by morning they grow right up to the sky." "Really?" said Jack. "Yes, and if it doesn't turn out to be true, you can have your cow back." Wonder what he's going to do. "Back already, Jack?" said his mother. "Tell me, how much did you get for Milky White?" "You'll never guess, Mother." "Could it be 5 pounds, 10, 15? No," she cried, "it can't be 20. I knew you couldn't guess. What do you say to these magical beans? Plant them tonight and—" "What?" said Jack's mother. "Have you been such a dolt, such an idiot as to give away my Milky White, the best milker in the parish, for a set of paltry beans? Off with you to bed, and as for your precious beans, here they go out the window." Ooh, she's not being very nice, is she? So Jack went upstairs to his little room in the attic, and sad and sorry he was to be sure, as much for his mother's sake as for the loss of his supper. At last he dropped off to sleep. What's happening while he's sleeping? Ooh, those magic beans are doing something. When Jack woke up, he saw that the beans had sprung up into a big beanstalk that went up and up and up till it reached the sky. So the old man spoke the truth after all. Jack gave a jump onto the beanstalk, and he climbed 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 till at last he reached the sky. And what did he find up there? There's a big castle. Jack walked along and he walked along and he walked along till he came to a great big tall house. And on the doorstep was a great big tall woman. "Good morning, Mum," said Jack. "Could you be so kind as to give me some breakfast?" "It's breakfast you want, is it?" said the great big tall woman. "It's breakfast you'll be if you don't move on. My man is an ogre, and there's nothing he likes better than broiled boys on toast." "Oh, please, Mum," cried Jack. "I've had nothing to eat since yesterday morning. Really and truly, Mum, I may as well be broiled as die of hunger." Think she's going to give him some breakfast? Well, the ogre's wife was not half so bad after all. She took Jack into the kitchen and gave him some bread and cheese, when all of a sudden, thump, 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 the whole house began to tremble with the noise of someone coming. "Goodness gracious me," said the ogre's wife. "Come along quick." And she bundled Jack into the oven just as the ogre came in. He was a big one, to be sure. "Ah, wife," he said, "what's this I smell? Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." "Nonsense, dear," said his wife. "You're dreaming. Or perhaps you smell the scraps of that boy you like so much for yesterday's dinner. Here, you go and have a wash and tidy up, and by the time you come back, those calves will be broiled for your breakfast." Well, the ogre had his breakfast, and after that he went to his big chest and took out a couple of bags of gold, and down he sat and counted. At last his head began to nod, and he began to snore till the whole house shook. Then Jack crept out of the oven, grabbed a bag of gold, and was off before you could say Jack Robinson. So he stole a bag of gold. When Jack came to the beanstalk, he threw down the gold, which of course fell into his mother's garden. Then Jack climbed down. "Well, Mother," he said, "wasn't I right about the beans? They really are magical, you see." So they lived off the bag of gold for some time, but at last they came to the end of it, and Jack made up his mind to try his luck once more up at the top of the beanstalk. Ooh, what do you think? If you were Jack, would you go back up that beanstalk again? One fine morning he rose up early and jumped onto the beanstalk, and he climbed and he climbed and he climbed and he walked and he walked and he walked till at last he came to the great big tall house he had been to before. There, sure enough, standing on the doorstep was the great big tall woman. "Go away, my boy," said the big tall woman, "or else my man will eat you up for breakfast. But aren't you the youngster who came here once before? Do you know that very day my man missed one of his bags of gold?" "That's strange, Mum," said Jack, bold as brass. "I dare say I could tell you something about that, but I'm so hungry I can't speak till I've had something to eat." Well, the big tall woman was so curious that she took him in again. So Jack wasn't really truthful, was he? All happened as it did before. Thump, thump, thump. They heard the ogre's footsteps, and his wife hid Jack away in the oven. Fee, fi, fo, fum. After breakfast, the ogre said, "Wife, bring me the hen that lays the golden eggs." So she brought it. The ogre said, "Lay," and it laid an egg all of gold. Soon the ogre began to nod his head and to snore till the house shook. Then Jack tiptoed out of the oven, nabbed the golden hen, and off he peltered, which means off he ran, taking things that don't belong to him. But this time the hen gave a cackle that woke the ogre, and just as Jack got out of the house, he heard him roaring, "Wife, wife, what have you done with my golden hen?" When Jack got home, he showed his mother the wonderful hen and said, "Lay" to it, and it laid a golden egg every time he said "lay." Well, it wasn't very long before Jack decided once again to try his luck up there at the top of the beanstalk. He's getting kind of greedy now, isn't he? This time he knew better than to go straight to the ogre's house. When the big tall woman came out with a pail, he crept in the house and got into the bread box. He hadn't been there long when he heard thump, 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 as before, and in came the ogre and his wife. Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. I smell him, wife, I smell him. Do you, my dearie? Said the ogre's wife. Well, if it's the little rogue that stole your gold in the hen, then he's sure to have got into the oven, but he's not, is he? They both rushed to the oven, but Jack wasn't there, and the ogre's wife said, There you are again with your fee-fi-fo-fum. Why, of course it's the boy you caught last night that I've just broiled for your breakfast, she said. How forgetful I am, and how careless you are not to know the difference between live and dead after all these years. Well, I could have sworn, muttered the ogre, and he searched the larder and the cupboards and everything, only luckily he didn't think of the bread box. So Jack is safe so far. After his breakfast was over, the ogre called out, Wife, bring me my golden harp. So she brought it, and he said, Sing, and the golden harp sang most beautifully. And it went on singing till the ogre fell asleep and began to snore like thunder. Then Jack lifted the lid very quietly and crept like a mouse on hands and knees till he came to the table, and up he crawled and caught hold of the golden harp. But the harp called out, Master, master, and the ogre woke up. Oh my goodness, what is going to happen to Jack? Jack ran as fast as he could, and the ogre came rushing after. When the ogre saw Jack climbing down for dear life, he swung himself onto the beanstalk, which shook with his weight. Down climbed Jack, and after him climbed the ogre. Jack called out, Mother, mother, bring me an axe. Ooh, is he going to get caught? Jack's mother rushed out with the axe in her hand, and Jack gave a chop at the beanstalk, cutting it in two. The ogre fell down and broke his crown, and the beanstalk came tumbling after. What with showing the golden harp and selling the golden eggs, Jack and his mother became very rich, and Jack married a great princess, and they all lived happily ever after. But really, everyone didn't live happily ever after, did they? Because that poor giant who had his things taken from him fell down off of that beanstalk. So I don't know about that Jack, because he was not a very nice guy, was he? He was kind of not very honest, and he was stealing things. So I don't know if that was such a happily ever after for everybody. What do you think? All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that story, and I will see you today for our 11:30 Zoom. Bye.